Do you remember something that you were frightened to do, but you successfully accomplished by overcoming your fears? Was it your first day at a new school, or your first day in a new sports team? Was it learning to ride a bicycle or delivering a speech in the school assembly? Attempting something for the first time surely can be intimidating, especially if you lack self-confidence. Leaving one's comfort zone and taking the first step is always risky and frightening. But the joy one experiences after overcoming the initial fears is beyond words. The story of the young seagull is all about conquering the fear of making the first flight. Let us watch and observe how he gradually overcomes his fear and finally flies. The seagull's two brothers and sister had already made their first flight the day before. They are enjoying their flight with their mom and dad. He was standing on his ledge alone and nervous, looking at the violent sea beneath. He tried to run for flight, but somehow got scared when he reached the edge. Have you ever attempted to do something scary, but then back out in the last minute? The seagull was low on confidence and was convinced that he would never fly. He returned to his hole where he slept at night. His parents came around and called him shrilly, threatening him to let him starve on his edge if he did not fly. But unfortunately, the little seagull could not muster up the courage to even look at the raging sea below the cliff. The next day, nobody came to him, and he was all alone. On the previous day, he watched his parents flying around with his siblings and teaching them how to skim the waves and to dive to catch fish. But it came to him. His whole family walked on the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. The sun was setting, and the seagull was starving since his family did not bring him any food. With his family on the other side, he stepped on the brink of his ledge and closed his eyes, pretending to fall asleep. But no one took notice, apart from his mother. Every now and again, his mother tore at a fish and scraped each side of her beak on the rock, and this drove the little seagull crazy because he loved to tear fish in that way. He could no longer bear the hunger, so he cried out to his mother, begging her to bring him some food, but she did not pay heed. After constantly crying out to her, she finally picked up a piece of fish and started flying towards him. He leaned eagerly and started tapping his feet on the rock, attempting to come closer to his mother as she flew towards him. But much to his disappointment, she halted in the air, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak, almost within reach of his beak. "Oh, please give it to me already," he must have thought out of desperation. He was famished, and his mother was punishing him by not giving him food. The fish was so close to him. It seemed so far because he could not fly and snatch it from her. Why do you think his mother did this? Was it to tease him or encourage him to fly and grab the fish himself? He looked at her in wonder for a moment, then, out of desperate hunger, dived at the fish. He screamed loudly as he fell outwards and downwards into space. He suddenly realized what he had done and was immediately seized with terror. What happened in the next moment was amazing. What do you think happened? Do you think the poor little seagull fell to his death? In the next moment, his wings spread out. He was no longer scared, although he felt a little dizzy. At once, he flapped his wings and up he went. From falling down to rising up, the little seagull was flying. His family joined him in excitement. What a celebration! Have you noticed how parents feel when their baby walks for the first time? He was so thrilled, he kept flying and went near the sea and flew over it. He then attempted to stand on the green sea, where his legs sank in, which frightened him. He attempted to rise up to avoid sinking, but he was so tired as he had not eaten all day. Gradually, his feet sank, and then his stomach touched the water. But he did not sink any further, but rather started floating on the water. His family was thrilled at the sight and started praising him and offering him scraps of dogfish. Liam O'Flaherty tried to teach us the importance of independence, self-reliance, and courage. If one is in his or her comfort zone, he or she can't achieve anything in life. Once we leave the comfort zone and take up challenges boldly, one will be able to realize goals in life. Only when the seagull was courageous to take the giant leap was he able to fly and become independent. The role his family had in his independence indicates the importance of receiving support from parents in helping a child achieve independence. Parents ought to do everything in their power to help their child achieve independence. What are some of the things your parents helped you overcome in order to be courageous and independent? It could be swimming, participating in competitions, by overcoming the fear of failure, or any other thing. There are many rewards awaiting on the other side of fear. Being courageous and self-confident is paramount to achieve even the smallest milestones.
The Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forsyth. It was a starlit night. There was not a single cloud in the sky. The narrator was flying his old Dakota plane high above the sleeping countryside. He was flying back to England, dreaming of his holiday with his family. It was 1:30 in the morning. As he looked down, he could see the lights of a big city. He switched on the radio and called the Paris Air Traffic Control.
Paris Control, Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I'm on my way to England. Over.
Immediately, the air traffic control answered. DS-088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-088, over. He switched over to his second and last fuel tank and turned the plane 12 degrees west towards England. He thought that he would be at home for breakfast. Suddenly he noticed huge storm clouds like black mountains in front of him across the sky. His plane could not fly up over them, and the plane did not have enough fuel to fly around them. He decided to take the risk and flew his plane directly into the storm. Suddenly everything went black. The old plane jumped and twisted in the air. One after another, all the instruments stopped functioning. He tried calling the Paris Control Tower.
Paris Control, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There was no reply. The radio was dead too. The pilot was completely lost in the storm. Suddenly, he saw a strange black aeroplane flying beside him. It was so close that he could see the pilot's face. He lifted one hand and waved.
Follow me! Follow me!
The pilot of the black aeroplane turned his aeroplane slowly to the north, and the Dakota followed him like an obedient child. They flew for half an hour through the black clouds. The Dakota had fuel only for 5 or 10 minutes more to fly. The pilot was frightened. Suddenly, the black aeroplane started going down, and the Dakota was following it through the storm. Suddenly, the Dakota came out of the clouds, and its pilot saw 2 long straight streaks of light in front of him. It was the runway. He looked for the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. It simply disappeared. The pilot at the Dakota landed his aeroplane safely. He walked towards the control tower and went to the woman in the control room and asked her where his plane was and who the other pilot was. She looked at him strangely and laughed. Another aeroplane? Up there in the storm? No other aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. The pilot was baffled. Who helped him to come out of the storm safely without a compass or a radio and enough fuel in the tanks? Who was the pilot of the strange black aeroplane guiding him through the storm?